Welcome to New York's number 2 sports show. The Rangers defeat the Ottawa Senators by a score of 2-1. Igor Shesterkin was the story, making 40 saves on 41 shots. Not a well-played game by the Rangers. They're able to get the 2 points, but Ottawa really should have won this game. Rangers, I thought, played a pretty good first period, and they actually, outscored Ottawa 1-0 in that first, but the second and third period, especially the second, was just truly awful. And the third period was not a whole lot better. Rangers were actually outshot a combined 33-9 in the final 2 periods combined. So Ottawa, to me, they seem like a team that is getting better and better. Do I think they'll make the playoffs this year? Probably not. But I don't think that they're like a joke team. Ottawa's, a team that hasn't made the playoffs in, a while now. Last time might have actually been in 2017 when they faced the Rangers, unless I don't think I'm forgetting one. But Rangers really, I think it kind of starts with the defenseman. I think that's where I'll kind of begin the conversation. And as far as the lineup was concerned, the same defenseman as last game, a.k.a. no Zach Jones again, which I think is just a mistake that they continue to make. And then for the forwards, it was Johnny Brodzinski in for Matt Rempe. So again, as far as Matt Rempe's concerned, just send him down, which I think Jimmy Vesey's eligible to come back next game. Does it mean he'll automatically be back in the lineup? I'm not sure, but regardless, like I keep on saying, like Rempe should be in Hartford. That's obvious to me. And then when Vesey is back, presumably he'll slot in and Brodzinski will be a healthy scratch more times than not, although you never know, right? Because as much as I think Adam Edstrom is someone that you want to give playing time to, he's certainly at risk to being a scratch as well. So that's less of a conversation. But as far as the defensemen go, I think it's fairly simple as far as how to fix this. And it starts with Zach Jones being in the lineup. It's awful how at this point, 10 games in, how many games has Zach Jones played? Probably give or take 5, if I had to guess. He has basically been a scratch in about half the games. And lately, it's been a bunch. He maybe played one game against, which game was it? Was it the Ducks maybe? I think a week ago. I think about less than a week ago against the Ducks was the one game he had played maybe in the last 5 or so. It feels like last 5 or 6, honestly. And I think right now the pairs are Miller Fox, Lindgren Trouba, and Steiner on his left side with Mancini. I think that, I'm certainly fine with leaving Miller and Fox together. I'm open to making a change there, but I don't even really know what it would be because I just don't want them to go back Lindgren with Fox. I prefer that not to happen. And if it's not going to be that, then I as far as left-handed defensemen, because you could go someone on the off side with Fox. But anyway, what I think makes most sense for me, and I'm trying to be realistic here as well. I think that Mancini would be the one that's the odd man out. Now, that conversation with Mancini is interesting as well. I like that they're giving him a chance. I think that for how young he is, I don't want to criticize him because I don't even think that he's anywhere near the biggest issue. But if it's a 1-for-1 situation, I think Jones being there is better for this defense than Mancini. Look, if we're up to me, Lindgren and Trouba should both be getting way, way less ice time. That's just what it is. They play way too much and in key situations. And them together as a defensive pair does not work. And neither does the Schneider-Mancini pair. That doesn't work either. You know what? Schneider with Trouba, that one was actually was more effective when they were going with them. And then I guess it was Jones with Mancini for the most part. Either way, what I would try is let's try Lindgren with Schneider and Jones with Trouba. See how that goes. Or some variation, some iteration of that. I think that could be helpful. That said, I think that Zach Jones is headed for a lot of healthy scratches, which I don't really quite understand because he's one of the few defensemen that can move the puck. There's no transition game. There's no tape-to-tape passes. That Lindgren Trouba pair, I mean, come on. And then really Schneider Mancini as well. That one's not good either. Pretty much, not that Adam Fox has been playing amazing. I wouldn't say that he has been. He's been good. Anyone that you put with Fox, that pair is typically going to grade out well. And so, you could argue that having Miller there, maybe you're more well-rounded with Miller on another pair, but it's not as if Keandre's really been that good either. I just think that, look, like, the reason why I'm harping on this, like, again, Rangers were outshot in this game 41-18 after they were severely, severely dominated and outplayed versus the Capitals. And this is how they responded. Now, I'm happy they got the 2 points, but that was all Igor Shesterkin. He played out of his fucking mind in this game. Really, that was one of the better performances you'll see. And even still, he didn't get the shutout. Like, and that's just been kind of a thing with Igor, where it feels like in so many of these great, performances, like, he'll give up a goal. And hey, like, the fact he only gave up one is kind of a miracle. But we'll see what they do against the Islanders. I just think, and if Jones isn't in the lineup, I still think it's worth switching up. At that point, again, if we're going to leave Miller with Fox, then maybe you go back to Schneider Trouba and go with Lindgren Mancini. Like, you cannot go with Lindgren Trouba and Schneider Mancini. Like, that just is not going to work. No way. No chance. And I like to think that Laviolette and the coaching staff are aware enough to know that, but one thing I'll say that I'm not confident in is their ability to decrease the ice time of Lindgren and Trouba. They're going to continue to play them much, much more than they should. As far as the forwards were concerned, I mean, this was a game where, Panarin is able to score a goal early on a really nice play by Lafrenière to cause a turnover. And then Lafrenière ends up with what would eventually be the game-winning goal on the power play. It's the second unit that scores it. So, again, it speaks to the idea that, Lafrenière and even Hedl as well, like, they deserve more of a power play opportunity. And we just know it's not going to happen. So it's just tough. Watching Zibanejad and Kreider, it's tough. And you know what? I don't want to lump Riley Smith in with them. Riley Smith actually made a very nice play on the Lafrenière power play goal. He kind of got that going. And so while Riley Smith hasn't been amazing as a Ranger, you can tell, like, he can definitely be a very effective player for this team. And I like the fact that he's a pretty key penalty killer as well. And I just think that it's so easy to say, oh, like, it's been a revolving door next to Zibanejad and Kreider. It hasn't been good since Buchnevich. But maybe part of that reason is because of Zibanejad and Kreider. And so, I felt like Zibanejad was more engaged in this. I'll give him that. He had some nice blocks. Like, there was commitment more so in this game than I've seen. But again, just a lot of sloppiness and ineffectiveness and just not being crisp with the puck. And the offensive instincts and skills just seem a tick off for Zibanejad. Anyway, let's discuss this one. So like I said, Rangers take an early lead, and I thought the Rangers' best period for sure was the first, easily. So it's Artemi Panarin scoring his 7th goal of the season from Alexis Lafrenière. So Panarin, whose season-opening point streak ended at 8 in Game 9 against the Washington Capitals, starts it right back up here. Like I said, a really nice play by Lafrenière to cause the turnover. Good, aggressive play by him. And then the puck goes to Artemi Panarin, and he's able to wire a wrist shot by Linus Ullmark, who is in his first year with the Ottawa Senators, most recently with the Boston Bruins, and before that, the Buffalo Sabres. So he's kind of made the rounds in the Atlantic Division. But, yeah, this was a play where Panarin, it was a nice shot, and it kind of goes through the defenseman Travis Hamonic, and it gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead. There would be one penalty in the first period to be Sam Carrick with a tripping penalty at 14:56. But the Rangers do kill that one off, and that was good. The penalty kill did a very nice job in this game. That can't be lost. They really did. As Ottawa went 0-for-5, they had, I believe, the number 2 power play heading into this game. Igor was, of course, a big reason why, but again, I still need to say the special teams were big And so this style of play, it's not going to work. Like it's 2022 shit where that was Igor Shesterkin and specialty teams. Like, which, yeah, it got them far, but it's not going to get you to where you want to ultimately get to. And the thing is with the Rangers, look, I understand, and this was my concern. In game 10 on November 1st, Rangers Senators, yeah, I do understand it's going to be hard to get up for a game like that, like for what this team has gone through in recent seasons. But I guess the most disappointing thing is coming off of that really shitty Washington game. Come on, like that's the problem is it wasn't a really good response, but again, they do get the 2 points. So the Rangers have a 1-0 lead going into the second. And there would be no scoring in the second, but a few penalties. Mike Amadio trips Braden Schneider at 7:05. But that power play comes to an end because about halfway through it, Chris Kreider hooks Tomas Shabbat. No one would score after either of those penalties. Then at 13:02, Adam Fox hooks Drake Batherson. No penalty, no power play goal there. And then at 17:12, Ryan Lindgren holds Drake Batherson. And Laviolette was pretty upset about this one. This probably should have been a no call. I understand kind of that there was chaos, and so the ref maybe felt compelled to call something. But to me, didn't really see a whole lot there. But Rangers do kill that one off as well. So we go to the third period with the Rangers up 1-0, and Josh Norris hooks Riley Smith, and the Rangers score a really, really key power play goal. It's the second unit that scores it. A 2:56 Lafrenière, his 5th goal of the year from Hedl and Riley Smith. So Smith makes a nice little play along the wall, a sort of backhand through the legs pass to Philip Hedl, and then Hedl finds Lafrenière. I don't even know if it touched Lafreniere's stick, but good positioning by Lafrenière, good vision by Hedl, and it kind of caroms off of Lafreniere's skate and in. So that's a 2-point night for Lafrenière, and that ends up being the game-winning goal. At 9:23, Adam Fox trips Ridley Gregg. Rangers kill it off, but then not too far after, at 12:28, Adam Gaudette scores his 5th goal of the season from Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Shabbat. So a really nice pass by Tkachuk. It's a play where Schneider was a little bit out of position, but Mancini, he wasn't really as focused as he probably should have been. He was pointing. I think he was trying to direct coverage, and he was pointing at an Ottawa Senator, I think. And in the process of that, Tkachuk just whizzes a pass by him to Gaudette, and there's nothing that Igor could do to stop it. I wish there was a better job of Trocheck having a stick on the ice. Again, Vincent Trocheck's play has been a little bit – there's a little bit left to be desired for Trocheck. Again, like I think he brings a really important style of play to this team, and one of the few players that I think his play translates to playoff hockey. Right, so I'm not trying to get on him. I'm just from what I've been seeing, I just think that there's more there. Considering how good that line is, it feels as if I'm seeing more positives from the wingers than necessarily Trocheck, even though I know he's doing a lot and his role is an important one. I will say, actually, a lot of turnovers from Artemi Panarin in this game. At a certain point, a lot of backhand passes that, just flinging it to the middle that were getting intercepted. So that made it 2-1. And then it was 6-on-5 Ottawa later on. And, Igor was able to kind of do what he had to do. Some really, really great saves. And the Rangers hold on for a 2-1 win over Ottawa and improve to 7-2-1. So 10 games in, if you told me 7-2-1, I'd sign up for that all day. But, Washington and Carolina continue to win. So as far as the division, definitely some competition there in the early going. So now the Rangers will face the New York Islanders, a Sunday matinee game. Islanders are coming off of a much-needed win against Buffalo in Buffalo. So the Islanders have had a tough start to the season. They're 4-5-2. Sorokin was in net for the Buffalo game. He's been better than Varlamov to start the season. It'll be interesting to see who they go with because Varlamov's obviously had a lot of success at Madison Square Garden, but Sorokin seems to be, and I could be wrong about this, seems to be the hotter goalie. So let's see what they do. Definitely would expect it to be Igor. I understand that Jonathan Quick has not played a whole lot, but in a divisional game versus the Islanders, I'd be surprised if it was not Shesterkin in net. And this will be an interesting game. Look, whenever it's a divisional game versus the Islanders, definitely will be a good one. And I think for Peter Laviolette and company, still driving home, hey, like this play is unacceptable. Even though they're coming off of a win, and I don't, in part, that's tough because it kind of brings about bad habits. Rangers have been getting away with a lot of bullshit, even though they're winning, and they've been bailed out by Shesterkin plenty this season. But I think that now, hopefully, there's no sense of satisfaction or complacency because we've seen how ugly that can be. And I think, the Islanders, they'll be without Matt Barzal, Anthony Duclair. So the Islanders are certainly not at full strength. But that said, I would expect this to be a fairly entertaining game. Definitely. And the Rangers better be ready. So they're able to find a way. They had that bad loss against Washington. They're able to get the win. Igor Shesterkin with 40 saves. He just carried the team on his back. And the Rangers beat the Ottawa Senators by a score of 2-1.